No one wants to talk about it, but everyone needs it. Money. That's the first line from the report called Voices for the Common Good, a 2-year study that looked at key areas to improve family finances long term. Shayna Gross with the United Way of San Diego County and Murtaza Baksamusa with San Diego Middle Class Taxpayers Association join me with more on the big picture of poverty in San Diego and what can be done about it. Welcome.
Thank you, Peggy.
Sheena, the United Way interviewed hundreds of people for this study, and they told you about 4 key areas that were crucial to overcoming or breaking the cycle of poverty. What are those areas?
The first was around being in crisis versus barely managing. So we have folks who are not even above the federal poverty level and are in crisis mode. And then we have individuals that are working hard but still falling short and barely making it.
And then there was the difficulty accessing public resources or benefits. What did you find there?
Correct. It's a really complicated system. There are federal regulations, state, county, and it's hard to navigate.
Okay, and what were some of the last 2 that you really found?
We found a mismatch between job trainings and job openings. So people don't have the skills that our employers are looking for, and employers can't find skilled workforce to meet their needs.
Is it that the training programs didn't?
The training programs are specific and sometimes lack some of the basic reading, writing, math, soft skills that we think of are sort of a given but aren't there. And then the final area was the lack of childcare and transportation and how those are barriers to people not just getting employment but retaining employment and advancing in their employment because it really ties them.
Right. If you can't get to work or you can't get your childcare, you're going to be absent more and
Absolutely.
It's going to cause a problem. Let's talk about this, Murtaza. The report found that the federal poverty guidelines don't take the high cost of living in San Diego into account when they're issuing, I guess, funds. So is there anything that can be done about that?
Yes, the federal poverty guideline is inadequate, both because of the high cost of living as well as the increased cost of health care, child care, and transportation for San Diego's workforce.
What's the situation here as far as poverty? Give us some numbers.
Well, 462,000 people live in poverty in San Diego. Now, it's important to realize that 7% of the entire population is what I would call working poor. That's 112,000 people that are working and still struggling to make ends meet.
So that's almost 500,000 people on some level of
Correct.
impoverishment. Sheena, this is part of the issue, but you found a gap between the really impoverished, as you were talking about, and self-sufficient families here. Tell us about that.
So what we have is a group of people, as was mentioned, that are really working hard, sometimes 2 jobs, but aren't making enough to make ends meet each month and then plan for a future, whether that's retirement or a college savings account for their kids.
Something I really liked about this report is it's in common language, it's easy to read, and there were also some very practical solutions. Name off a couple of things that the United Way is doing to try to help resolve these problems.
We have a couple of programs. We have a transportation, a car loan program for individuals with poor credit because we know that's the hardest time to get a loan. We have financial education programs. We're doing mock interviewing for adults and youth, teaching some of those soft skills. A good handshake and eye contact are really key. And then we're talking about wanting to change the conversation and stop talking about getting people out of poverty as being success, but really people into self-sufficiency.
And there's actually a new county access number, right? A phone number that people will help them get the benefits that are available right now.
They'll help you navigate that complicated system, and 211 as well.
Okay, and we'll talk about that and how people can access that. But why is it in everyone's interest, not just the poor, not just the middle class, to sort of bring up the economic level of everyone here in San Diego?
This for 2 reasons. One is the demand. As if you have a larger consumer base with more expendable income, then you have more economic growth. Secondly, in terms of the supply, the middle class is more inclined to invest in training and education and in their own children so that they can lift the entire economy up.
It benefits us all. Well, I want to let folks know that we do have links to the county public benefits phone number and that access, and the very simple, easy to read guide for the United Way on that report at kpbs.org. Shayna Gross and Murtaza Baksamusa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peggy.